Rosie O'Donnell doing what she does best, being loud, bitter, and absolutely insufferable.
Well, hey everybody, it's Thursday all day, as my nana would say. And
Why?
what can I tell you? I'm in Dublin, Ireland.
Ew. Is that
having
a cult
great
store?
life,
What do you got?
enjoying the people of Dublin, Ireland, and the culture and the sense of community.
Why don't you stay there?
And so about the Minnesota shooting,
Oh, nobody cares.
and it brought me right back to Columbine in 1999 when I just could not get it through my head that students in America were shooting each other in schools.
Oh,
This
liberals.
was a church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know? It was a white guy, Republican, MAGA
No.
person.
No,
What do you know?
absolutely not.
White supremacist.
What?
Nothing has happened since Columbine. Nothing. The Million Mom March. Nothing.
You know, I'd actually be surprised if this wasn't par for the course when it comes to Democrats immediately misrepresenting something, even when the facts are clear and even when outlets like CNN report them. Let's just set the record straight for a second. The shooter in Minnesota, identified as trans, was reportedly trans by their mother and expressed deep regret in their own writings about ever transitioning. From the excerpts we've seen, it's obvious this was someone suffering from severe mental illness that was coddled, reinforced, and ultimately weaponized by the very political ideology Democrats champion. And yet here we have people like Rosie O'Donnell flipping the entire situation on its head and shamelessly exploiting the murder of 2 Catholic school children and the wounding of over a dozen others to score cheap political points. It's one thing to debate gun laws or mental health, honestly. It's another to willfully misrepresent reality just to smear your opponents. Over the last several days, we've watched Democrats and their allies on social media twist themselves into knots trying to frame this shooter who was vocally anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, and deeply disturbed as a white supremacist male simply because that narrative serves their agenda. They erased the shooter's identity, overlooked the anti-Christian motive, and did what they always do, blame the right for the consequences of their own ideology. The truth is, transgender ideology has become inseparable from a broader culture of violence and entitlement, particularly when it's fused with resentment, victimhood, and moral nihilism. And in moments like this, we're forced to confront a disturbing reality. There is a not-so-silent war being waged against Christians in this country. And when tragedies like this happen, Democrat first instinct isn't reflection or accountability, it's manipulation. And that's not just dishonest, it's dangerous. Anyway, needless to say, shortly after publishing that statement, Rosie needed to go back and correct herself because she was wrong.
Hi, everybody. It's Rosie O'Donnell, star of the Flintstones.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I have a cold sore. I know.
Oh.
Happens. Get run down, you know.
Oof.
Anyway, I know a lot of you were very upset about the video I made before I went away for a few days. I didn't go online and haven't seen them till today. But you are right. I did not do my due diligence before I made that emotional statement. And I said things about the shooter that were incorrect. I assumed, like most shooters, they followed a standard MO and had standard, feelings of
what?
NRA loving kind of
BS.
people. Anyway, the truth is, I messed up, and when you mess
Yeah.
up, you fess up. I'm sorry. This is my apology video, and I hope it's enough.
Look, I'll give Rosie credit for apologizing and correcting the record, but let's be honest, folks. The way she did it raised more red flags than it actually resolved. She openly admitted that her original statement was based on a stereotype that most shooters are NRA-loving types, and then almost in the same breath, reinforced that same lazy assumption. That's the problem. It's not just that she got the facts wrong about the Minnesota shooter. It's that she had no hesitation spreading those assumptions to millions of people because they fit a convenient Democrat script. And this isn't just about Rosie, by the way. It's a reflection on how deeply partisan narratives have infected our public discourse. And the truth is, we need to have a real, uncomfortable conversation in this country about the recent rise in violence from trans individuals. Is it the majority violence? No. The vast majority of shooters are still not in that demographic, but the trend in the last few years is impossible to ignore. In 2023, Aiden Hale, who identified as trans, killed 6 people in the Covenant School shooting in Nashville. In Colorado, Alec McKinney, a trans boy, was one of the shooters involved in the STEM school attempted attack. At Club Q in Colorado Springs, the shooter, Anderson Lee Aldrich, was accused of being non-binary. In July 2025, several trans and queer-identified activists were involved in a coordinated shooting attack on an ICE facility in Texas, injuring a law enforcement officer. And most recently, as we've looked, Robin Westman, the Minneapolis shooter, also identified as trans. These aren't just isolated tragedies. They signal a pattern that's just being ignored or actively suppressed because it contradicts the Democrat preferred narrative. Rosie's apology is a small start, but it also unintentionally highlights just how acceptable it's become in Democrat media circles to lead to conclusions, demonize the right immediately, and erase facts that don't align with the identity politics playbook they go by. Until we're willing to acknowledge reality without fear, censorship, or ideological blinders, this culture of denial will continue to put lives at risk. So the question now isn't whether these moments are isolated. They're not. The question is, how many red flags we need to wave before people stop pretending they don't see them? How much distortion, denial, and ideological gaslighting are we willing to tolerate before we admit that something is deeply broken, not just in media or politics, but in the moral compass of the culture itself? What does this say about our institutions when truth becomes optional and narrative becomes everything? These aren't just rhetorical missteps from Rosie or other Democrats. None of this is accidental. They're deliberate choices, often made by people with platforms, power, and zero accountability. And if you find yourself instinctively trusting whatever story flatters your worldview, maybe it's time to ask, who benefits from that instinct, and what are they trying to hide from you? You tell me what you think in the comments down below. Hope you have a terrific day. Peace.